Just as we started to see some of that cloud cover move out, we started to see that high-level clouds push in, and that's a lot of that blow-off here. So the top end of those storms really off to the west of us move in, and you can tell we're already making our way in towards those fall-like temperatures because that's the moon moving across the southern-facing cactus cam right now, and we're looking at that cool down because of that high humidity value. We're already seeing there in those lower 70s, and everybody quickly following suit, and that's going to continue to drop a couple more degrees, if not 10 more by the rest of tonight, really increasing those dew points, giving you an idea of just how much humidity is really out there being pulled in from the west. When we look across the entire Concho Valley, I guarantee you it's not 82 in Robert Lee, but everywhere else it's hanging out in those lower to mid 70s, and that's going to continue to be the case as we make our way in towards October while we wrap up the last week of September. Now, we are talking about how humid it is during the day when we see those low-level cumulus clouds move in, and we're looking at those values nearly double as we start to see the sun go down. Dew points up to about those mid 50s to lower 60s, even 70 down there in Junction, where they could see some rainfall activity if they see enough lifting mechanism, but the strong southerly flow really keeping a lot of those temperatures away from popping off any storms. Speaking of strong southerly flow, that's what we're seeing and going to continue to see as we start to see this ridging really kind of weaken and move off to the east. Now, this low pressure system that's developing off the west coast, they're already forecasting to see about 4 inches of snow as a result in some of those areas, but when we look all across the west coast, they're starting to issue surf warnings for something of the wind speeds related to this. Now, this system is going to cut off from the jet stream, and that's going to increase that southerly flow that we're starting to see right now over New Mexico quickly make its way into the Concho Valley. As you see, it's going to cut off from the system, and then it's going to completely cover the Rocky Mountain Front Range, and that's going to increase a lot of that southerly flow and humidity values. I'm sorry, Haley, where we're starting to see it really increase across the entire Concho Valley right now. The severe weather outlook really targeting West Texas and New Mexico, and then parts of Illinois, and that's exactly what we're seeing when we're talking about those systems that are going to cut off from the circulation or the jet stream, and then that explosive activity that's really blowing off that high-level cirrus, letting us know the upper-level winds in this region are pretty fast. While we're seeing that low-pressure system barrel down, they're actually calling for an atmospheric river, and that far up on the Pac Northwest is a lot further than usually Southern California. Now, as we see the high-level cirrus blow off, that's what's going to continue into tonight, and that's what's going to increase our humidity values. Now, when we're starting to look at Wednesday afternoon, we're going to see a quick round of thunderstorms really push through the area, and that's going to continue to increase those humidity values, giving us a good run at those lower 90s. But when we point our attention towards Friday night and kickoff, we can start to see a lot better of those temperatures because we're going to start to see that increased southerly flow. So tonight we're going to be dropping down into those mid 60s again. 10 more degrees or so, might see a light rain shower or two, but tomorrow going to be very humid as we start to see again that maximum heating kick off a bunch of low-level cumulus, and that could result into some explosive thunderstorm activity before it pushes off and leads us to a more humid rest of the week. Definitely Thursday going to be a bit warmer than usual. Might be 94, but might feel a little hotter even when we start to touch into 96. But then by Friday, we start to see that southerly flow push in. Again, cooler temperatures, a lot of that colder wind coming down from the northwest. That's going to drop us about 5 more degrees, while our lows start to follow the same trend, sitting in those lower 70s to upper 60s, and we still are going to increase our opportunity to start to seeing that afternoon thunderstorm activity. Stay tuned. We'll have more after the break. You're watching KSAN News at 10.